Some will gladly take the scriptures that will fit their choosing. Others think the harder parts are worthy of removing. But every word is from the mouth of God, divinely given. And I believe that what it means is just the way it's written. I'll take it like it is and seek to know what God is saying. And when my life falls short, it's me who needs to do the changing. His holy word is where I learn the truth His Spirit gives. God meant it when He said it, and I'll take it like it is. There is joy and comfort to believe it can be trusted. The more that I obey its law, the more I find I love it.
There's nothing that can ever shake it, it'll stand forever.
It tells the story of God's grace, oh what a priceless treasure. I'll take it like it is and seek to know what God is saying. And when my life falls short, it's me who needs to do the changing. His holy word is where I learn the truth His Spirit gives. God meant it when He said it, and I'll take it like it is. I'll take it like it is and seek to know what God is saying. And when my life falls short, it's me who needs to do the changing. His holy word is where I learn the truth His Spirit gives. God meant it when He said it, and I'll take it like it is. God's holy word is where I learn the truth His Spirit gives. God meant it when He said it, and I'll take it like it is.
Well, good evening. It is a blessing to be here with you. We are the GloryBound Quartet from Heartland Baptist Bible College in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And we're excited. We're ready for this week of camp to be there with some of your teens and others from all across Florida. But traveling with us this summer as our sponsor, we have Brother Rocky Harrell. He teaches a lot of the Bible classes there and some of the Baptist history, Baptist distinctive classes. He was pastoring a few months ago and just currently is now on full-time staff there at the college. Over on the piano, we have Jacob Langley, and he is a second-year youth major from Pauls Valley, Oklahoma. And back on our sound, we have Bryce Johnson. He's a pastoral graduate from Colorado Springs, Colorado. And my name is Caleb Ball, and I am a second-year pastoral major from Lebanon, Missouri.
Good evening. It's good to be here with you tonight. My name is Nick Tallerita. I'm a pastoral graduate from Chicago, Illinois.
Hello, my name is Caleb Crumpton, and I'm a third-year youth major from Heber Springs, Arkansas.
Hi, my name is Chris Rowe, and I'm a fourth-year pastoral major from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
We're missing out on the good life, according to men of degree. We're missing out on life's normal pleasures by standards of worldly belief. They say we're too narrow, we should learn to just let go. We're all missing out somehow. But when I think of their claims and the pleasures they name, well, I'll admit I have missed out. I've missed out on the heartache of living my life in sin. I've missed out on the sorrow of facing a world without Him. And I have no regrets for things that I've missed, 'cause down deep in my heart the truth was and is every day that I live, I thank God for what I've missed. This world is concerned that Christians, we're missing out socially. They say that our stand and the book in our hand, it's not right politically. They call our convictions religious addictions. They claim that we're all turned around, but we cannot deny one thing they've got right. It's true, we have missed out. I've missed out on the heartache of living my life in sin. I've missed out on the sorrow of facing a world without Him.
And I have no regrets for things that I've missed, 'cause down deep in my heart the truth was and is every day.
Every day that I live, I thank God for what I've missed. I've missed out on the heartache of living my life in sin. I've missed out on the sorrow of facing a world without Him.
And I have no regrets for things that I've missed, 'cause down deep in my heart the truth was and is every day.
Every day that I live, I thank God for what I've missed.
Oh, I have no regrets for things that I've missed, 'cause down deep in my heart the truth was and is every day.
Every day that I live, I thank God for what I've missed.
Well, at this time, we've been given a couple we were asked to give a couple testimonies, and at this time, Bryce Johnson, he's our sound man. He's going to come up and give one. You'd think he'd be a little bit faster. You know, he did track and field in high school. He's kind of slow, sorry.
Well, good evening. As he said, I am Bryce Johnson, and I kind of wanted to give a little bit of a testimony about my time going and being called into the ministry, and I really want to give it to apply it in a way that kind of will mean something to everybody in here. And so when I was in junior high school, I always loved, as he said, sports, and it was something that I was really focused on, specifically football and track and field. And so it was something that I pursued a lot in when I was in junior high, and it obviously went over into my high school years. And during my time in high school is a moment when I really started to kind of backslide and get my heart away from the Lord. And I refused to do whatever it is that the Lord wanted me to do, and I got my eyes off of the Lord and started to seek things that I wanted. And I desired so strongly to go to a secular college to receive a scholarship and to be a physical therapist one day. And I knew that there was only one way that that was going to happen, and that was only going to happen by a scholarship in sports, because I wasn't smart enough for an academic scholarship, and at the same time I knew that my parents couldn't afford one. For me to go there to a secular college. And so I focused a lot of my time in that, and I pursued it with all of my heart and all of my aspirations. And by the time I graduated high school, I had finally achieved it, and I was able to sign on to a secular college in Nebraska. And I thought finally I had achieved everything that I wanted, and I thought that I had all that I was looking for in life. But the summer after I had graduated high school, I went to a camp in Colorado called Silver State Baptist Youth Camp. And the Lord really spoke to me there, and He made it very apparent. He was saying to me, Bryce, this isn't what I want you to do, and you know it. You haven't sought my face about this. You haven't asked me what I wanted for you in your life. And He was making it very clear at that moment that He was calling me into the ministry, and He had something different for me. And it was really hard for me to let go of that, because I was thinking to myself, man, I've spent years thinking and trying and focusing so much of my time trying to achieve what I wanted in my life. How can I just let that go and give everything over to the Lord? How can I be sure that what He wants for me is really what's best for me in my life? And it was the Thursday night of that week at camp. Brother Bill Marshall was preaching, and he was talking about giving your all over to the Lord because you'll never regret it. And that was the night I surrendered my life to the Lord, and I said, Lord, I don't know what you want from me. I don't know exactly how you're going to make things work for me. I just know that you're calling me into the ministry, so I'm just going to give everything up to you, and I'm just going to let you take it. And I can tell you right now, they just sang that song, I've Missed Out. As I look back now, I've missed out on a lot of things in my life. And this world might think, wow, you did miss out on a lot. You missed out on a lot of great things in this life. But in actuality, I've missed out on a lot of sorrow, a lot of heartache, a lot of sin. And it's because I gave my life over to the Lord. And there's nothing to praise for me for that. Because as I look back, it was the Lord that took care of everything. And I don't regret a single day do I regret giving my life over to the Lord. And so my encouragement for you all here tonight, if there's something that the Lord's telling you to do, whether it's to give your life over to the Lord or even just something small, just do it. Because as you look back, you will not regret it. I promise.
Stumbling beneath the load of my transgressions, I could never find a way. Guilt and heavy shame were my possessions, and a debt I could not pay. Then I heard the story of redeeming glory. Jesus paid it all for me. I called on him by faith, he covered me with grace. Now praise his holy name, I'm free.
He took away my burden.
Took away my burden when I fell on bended knee.
He took away my sorrow.
Took away my sorrow when his mercy lifted me. What a joy and wonder just to know I'm under his amazing love divine.
He took away my burden.
Took away my burden when he saved this soul of mine. If you ever walk down paths of darkness, but today you walk in light. If you wore a sin as dark as scarlet, now you wear a garment white. Let your testimony reach a soul that's lonely. Tell them there's a blessed hope. The whole world needs to hear how heaven's hope appeared the moment the redeemed say so.
He took away my burden.
Took away my burden when I fell on bended knee.
He took away my sorrow.
Took away my sorrow when his mercy lifted me. What a joy and wonder just to know I'm under his amazing love divine. Took away my burden when he saved this soul of mine. What a joy and wonder just to know I'm under his amazing love divine. Took away my burden when he saved this soul of mine.
What has happened to a nation that used to fear the Lord? To a people whose foundation was built upon God's word. We've allowed the world's opinion to chart a different way. But it's time the Church of Jesus Christ should boldly stand and say,
God's word will stand against the raging tide of those who criticize and work their evil plans. God's word will stand against the gates of hell with power to prevail in the hearts of men. God's word will stand. They can take it from the courthouse walls, remove it from the schools, teach our children that we're animals, speak against the golden rule, try to hide our Christian heritage from the public eye, but they'll never overcome God's word, no matter how they try. God's word will stand against the raging tide of those who criticize and work their evil plans. God's word will stand against the gates of hell with power to prevail in the hearts of men. God's word will stand. nor endure. It's the only way a sinner's heart could ever be made pure. God's word will stand against the raging tide of those who criticize and work their evil plans. God's word will stand against the gates of hell with power to prevail in the hearts of men. God's word will stand. God's word will stand. God's word will stand. My soul is firmly anchored in the rock of ages. Though angry waves may roll, I am secure and fearing not. 'Cause I'm holding to the promise written on the Bible pages. My soul is firmly anchored in the solid, solid rock. I read the morning paper and I watch the evening news. The enemy would love to see me shaking in my shoes.
But I have got sweet peace within, no one can take away.
Day after gloomy day, my soul is firmly anchored in the rock of ages. Though angry waves may roll, I am secure and fearing not. 'Cause I'm holding to the promise written on the Bible pages. My soul is firmly anchored in the solid, solid rock. The winds of change blow harder with every passing day, and it seems the land is shifting sand, but I'm standing anyway. Oh, I have a firm foundation that my faith is resting on, from here to the great beyond. My soul is firmly anchored in the rock of ages. Though angry waves may roll, I am secure and fearing not. 'Cause I'm holding to the promise written on the Bible pages. My soul is firmly anchored in the solid, solid rock. My soul is anchored in the rock of ages. Anchored in the rock of ages. My soul is firmly anchored in the solid rock. My soul is anchored in the rock of ages. Blowing the winds and waves may roll, I am secure and fearing not. I'm holding to the promise written in the Bible pages. Written in the Bible pages. My soul is firmly anchored. My soul is firmly anchored. My soul is firmly anchored in the solid rock.
Joseph begged for the body of Jesus. After the soldiers were done, he let Pilate know of a new grave he owned, the last resting place for God's Son. But early on that Sunday morning, in the rock where the grave had been hewn, God gave it back. There was just no more need for a borrowed and barely used tomb. It's cold, it's dark, and it's empty, this place where death lost its sting. It once belonged to a rich man and was used for a while by a king. He was just changing clothes for a journey. Then he left that old ugly room. The day that the grave lost its victory in a borrowed and barely used tomb. Have you ever tried to imagine the dawning of that third day? God shook the earth, an angel came down and rolled the gravestone away. He spoke to the women that morning who had come with their spice and perfume. Why seek ye the living among the dead in this borrowed and barely used tomb? It's cold, it's dark, and it's empty, this place where death lost its sting. It once belonged to a rich man and was used for a while by a king. He was just changing clothes for a journey. Then he left that old ugly room. The day that the grave lost its victory in a borrowed and barely used tomb. It's cold, it's dark, and it's empty, this place where death lost its sting. It once belonged to a rich man and was used for a while by a king. He was just changing clothes for a journey. Then he left that old ugly room. The day that the grave lost its victory in a borrowed and barely used tomb.
At this time, Jacob Langley, our piano player, is going to come up and give another testimony.
Well, good evening. It's good to be with you all. Like they said, my name's Jacob Langley. I am a sophomore now at Heartland. I'm a youth major. Just finished my freshman year. I'm from Pauls Valley, Oklahoma. There's a lot of familiar faces here. I used to be in this area quite a bit. My dad is Joseph Langley. He was a pastor down here in Florida. He's now pastoring there in Pauls Valley. So it's good to see you all. I'm just going to give a quick little testimony. Sorry, I'm out of breath. Surprisingly, the piano actually does quite a bit back there. So I guess my story, being from this area, I was a pastor's son, raised in the ministry. I was saved at the age of 5, being a pastor's son since '08 when my dad graduated from Heartland. My story about, being a ministry kid, I've seen the Lord work in incredible ways in my family's life. Truly I have, and I know that there was no way that those things could have happened but by God. The biggest change in my life personally started when I was about 15. We moved to California, just kind of in a waiting period. The Lord just kind of had us there waiting, not really sure what His plan was for us. But that's when the Lord really started to work on me personally in the biggest way. When I turned 14, the day after I turned 14, I was employed with Chick-fil-A. I know Brother Mitten back there is an operator, so I've been with Chick-fil-A for quite a while now, going on 5 years. When we moved out to California, I was 15 and got a job out there. By the time I was 16, just the way California laws worked, I was homeschooled, had my own vehicle. I was 16. The way the laws worked, I was able to get on the senior leadership team. So when I was 16, I was running some of the operations, such as hiring, firing. I was 16 and I was making $15.50 an hour. For a 16-year-old, that was a lot for me. That's a lot for anyone. But the Lord just kind of gave me that. That wasn't anything that I did personally. That was just what the Lord kind of worked out. So kept on going. When I was 17, graduated high school. Came to a point, being the way I was, I knew that I was going to go to Heartland. Even if it was just for a year, I wanted to have a good foundation under me. Even if I was going to continue with Chick-fil-A or whatever the Lord wanted me to do, I was going to go to Heartland and get at least 1 year. It came to a point I went back last summer before my freshman year, and I worked again at my old job in California. Right before I came to Heartland, my general manager pulled me into the office and he's like, you've been with us for a long time. I'd really like to, I know that your school does online courses. We'd like to keep you here and you could just do your online courses and we're going to give you a promotion. And that was a little bit of a temptation, but honestly, my heart's intent was to do what the Lord wanted me, and I knew that He wanted me at the school. So it was a slight temptation, but it wasn't like something that was really a struggle. So I told him, no. Well, we get to Heartland, and I had my own plans for how I wanted it to go. So we all do that. I had a plan of going there, completing my year. I went as a youth major. I'm in the four-year program, so I'm going to be there for a little bit while. But I still had my own plans. I was going to go back this summer and work for him again. It's a great opportunity. I have good mentors and stuff out there who've really invested in me. So that was my plan. My brother, Cody, he's my older brother. He was on GloryBound last year as the pianist, and he told me that he was getting off the groove. And he's like, well, I know the music department, and I know that there's not a lot of male pianists there, so why don't you give it a shot and get on? I'm like, no. And at the time, I didn't really play the piano a whole lot, so I was like, no, I'm not good at the piano, and I have my own plans. Honestly, I was like, I have my own plans for the summer. There's no way I'm traveling this summer for a group. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to make some money, and I'm going to go out there. And so my mom found out about the opening position, so she's like, Jacob, you should really try to get on a group. I'm like, no, that's just not what I'm going to do. Well, through my parents' influence and just kind of pushing that, they weren't trying to make their own plans for me. They just wanted, it was a good opportunity, and they wanted me to pray about it. So I did. I started to take it into consideration, and I really felt that the Lord had moved in that direction where He wanted me to try out for a group. And again, like I said, my heart's intent was to always do what the Lord wanted me. I really wanted to do that, but I still had my own plans that I was hanging on to. So I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to try out for a group, but I'm going to go there, Harlan. I'm not going to try out for a group. I'm just going to wait. And if someone from the school approaches me about being on a group, then, I'll know it's of the Lord. Knowing in my heart that for group members, they usually don't have someone approach you. There's an application process and stuff. So that was my scheme to get out of, what I felt the Lord pushing me towards. So we were there for 2 weeks, and sure enough, I get a call from Aaron Mass, the music department chairman. He called me, and he didn't even say, he's just like, I want to meet with you in my office, and I knew exactly what it was in my heart. And I was like, no way. I had my own plans, and this wasn't supposed to work out this way. I was going to do my thing, but I knew it was of the Lord, and I knew that's where He wanted me. Don't make a deal with God, because it won't work out the way you want it to. So he pulled me in the office. He's like, you know why I want to talk to you? And I'm like, probably, yeah. So he offered it, he told me just to pray about it, and I did. And in my heart, I knew that's what the Lord wanted. So right then and there, I was like, okay, Lord, if this is what you want, this is what I'm going to do. So we prayed about it for a couple of days, and obviously I'm here, so that happened. But my challenge is to you, even though it didn't go out the way that my flesh desired and the way I wanted it to, my encouragement to you is if you're fully surrendered to the Lord and you do exactly what He wants you to do, He brings a peace and a contentment that really is unmatched. So even if it's not big decisions in life like that, going to a Bible college for you young people, it's just daily things. I would just encourage you to follow the Lord in whatever He leads you to do.
Amen. Amen.
As pilgrims we're traveling through a land of sorrow and tears, beset on all sides by the world, its disappointments and fears, its struggles and fears. But let's not worry and despair, though heavy the burden which we bear. For the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. Keep pressing along, press along with courage true. For Jesus will lead, for the Lord will lead you through. When trouble and strife your life betide, He'll always be standing by your side. For the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. To those who are willing to take the cross of meekness and shame, and suffer the scorn of the world in bearing Jesus' sweet name, His wonderful name, a crown of pure gold will soon obtain the honor and life they failed to gain. For the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. Keep pressing on, Lord, with courage true. Jesus will lead you through. When trouble and strife your life betide, He'll always be standing by your side. For the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. Keep pressing on, Lord, with courage true. Jesus will lead you through. When trouble and strife your life betide, He'll always be standing by your side. For the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. The crowd didn't know just what they had done when they crucified God's only Son, for they did not realize this was the promised seed. He had come to bruise Satan's head, so Calvary had to be.
From the beginning, God's plan was set in place. From Bethlehem to Calvary, God's purpose was grace. He drank from the bitter cup all the dregs of sin. When He cried, "It is finished," salvation began.
You see, Calvary touched many things on that day. Mercy was crucified, and from His wounds came grace. I stand in amazement, I rejoice in victory. For the wonder of it all, Calvary touched a sinner like me. This world doesn't know to this very day how Calvary Calvary touched my life, how everything was changed. For I know what he did for me, and I can testify. When Calvary touched this heart of mine, I passed from death to life. You see, Calvary touched many things on that day. Mercy was crucified, and from his wounds came grace. I stand in amazement, I rejoice in victory, for the wonder of it all, Calvary touched a sinner like me. There my burdened soul found liberty, Calvary touched a sinner